Imagine you are standing at the edge of a vast, calm lake. You want to jump in and swim, but someone whispers in your ear that there might be a shark in the water. You know, intellectually, that the chances of a shark being in a freshwater lake are 0. Yet, your heart still beats faster. You hesitate. This is the state of modern parenting. We are living in a world where we have more information than ever before, but we have never felt less certain. We are told that every second our child is out of our sight, they are in grave danger. At the same time, we are told that if they aren't practicing Mandarin or advanced calculus by age 5, their future is ruined. This constant pressure has created a strange new reality. It is a world where parents are physically closer to their children than any generation in history, yet we are emotionally exhausted. We are working harder at parenting but feeling like we are failing more often. We are caught in a web of tracking apps, constant school updates, and social media advice that tells us how to breathe for our children. To find our way back to sanity, we have to look at the quiet revolution of independence. It is a journey that asks us to step back so that our children can finally step up. It is about rediscovering the simple truth that children are actually quite capable, and that the best thing we can do for them is often nothing at all. On the surface, the idea of free-range parenting or independence seems like a call for neglect or a lack of care. When people hear the term, they might imagine children wandering alone in dangerous cities or parents who just don't want to be bothered. The surface concept is often presented as a debate about safety. Is the world more dangerous now than it was 30 years ago? We look at the news and see white vans and scary headlines, and we conclude that the only way to be a good parent is to be a bodyguard. We think that by hovering over our children, we are protecting them from the world. This surface view treats parenting like a high-stakes security job. If we aren't supervising every playdate or walking them 2 houses down to the bus stop, we feel like we are failing. We have turned childhood into a series of managed events. We go to the park together, we go to the store together, and we stay in the same aisle. This surface-level fear keeps us trapped in a cycle of constant intervention. We believe that our presence is the only thing standing between our child and disaster. Behind this constant supervision lies a hidden assumption that children are fragile beings who lack innate drive. We assume that if we don't teach them everything, they will never learn. We think of children as empty vessels that need to be filled with adult instruction. This hidden assumption suggests that growth only happens when an adult is leading the way. We see this in the proliferation of classes for toddlers, classes on how to play, how to share, and even how to walk. We have forgotten that for thousands of years, humans learned these things through curiosity and trial and error. The hidden assumption is that childhood is a deficit that must be managed. We worry that if a child is bored, they are wasting time. If they are struggling with a difficult task, we assume we must fix it for them immediately to protect their self-esteem. But the hidden truth is that by fixing every problem, we are actually robbing them of the chance to build competence. We are assuming they can't handle a minor struggle, and by doing so, we teach them that they are indeed helpless. This lack of trust is a heavy burden for both the parent and the child. If we look at the structural pattern of our current culture, we see a system that profits from our anxiety. There is a massive industry built on the idea that parenting is a series of mistakes waiting to happen. The structural pattern is one of constant monitoring. Daycare centers send hourly reports on when a child ate or slept. Schools send alerts about every minor assignment. Social media algorithms feed us videos that tell us we are talking to our toddlers incorrectly. This pattern creates a feedback loop of fear. Information is marketed as a way to achieve peace of mind, but in reality, constant data leads to constant worry. It is a structural takeover of the natural instincts of both parents and children. We have moved from a culture of community trust to a culture of surveillance. In the past, the structure of a neighborhood allowed children to move between houses, and parents trusted that the world was generally a safe place. Now, the structure is isolated. We are more likely to track a child's GPS location than to know the name of the neighbor living 2 doors down. This structural isolation makes the world feel scarier than it actually is because we no longer see the safety net of our community. We can reframe this entire situation by looking at independence not as a risk, but as an essential nutrient for a child's development. Think of independence like a vitamin. Without it, a child's confidence becomes stunted. Instead of seeing a child walking to the store alone as a dangerous act, we can reframe it as a learning lab. Reframing the struggle is also key. When a child forgets their change at the store or gets lost for a moment, we can see it as a success rather than a failure. They are learning how to navigate the world's friction. We can also reframe our role as parents. Instead of being the chief of security, we can become the observers of growth. This perspective shifts the focus from keeping our kids safe from the world to making them capable in the world. This is a vital difference. One goal is about avoidance, while the other is about empowerment. When we reframe parenting as the process of slowly making ourselves unnecessary, the pressure to be perfect begins to lift. We realize that our job is to raise a competent adult, not to maintain a perfect child. We can apply these insights to our daily lives by starting with very small, manageable steps. You don't have to send your child on a cross-country trip tomorrow. You can start by letting them go to a different aisle in the grocery store to find a can of peas. You can let them walk to the mailbox alone. These small acts of trust act as a signal to the child that you believe in them. Application also means fighting the urge to instruct everything. If you see your child struggling to tie their shoes or build a tower, try waiting 5 minutes before helping. Give their synapses a chance to fire. In our interactions with schools and other parents, we can be the ones who opt out of the constant tracking. We can decide to stop checking the daycare app every 10 minutes and instead wait for the end of the day. We can model this trust for other parents, creating a small ripple of calm in an anxious world. For parents of toddlers, it might mean letting them help with the laundry, even if it takes 3 times as long and they fold the shirts into messy balls. The goal isn't a neat drawer. The goal is a child who feels like they matter and can contribute. As we deepen this reflection, we should think about the long-term impact of a trust-based culture. When we trust our children, we are also learning to trust our neighbors. We are deciding to believe that the world is generally good and that people are generally helpful. This is the foundation of a healthy society. If we raise children who are constantly monitored, they grow into adults who are afraid of risk and move through life with a sense of fragility. But if we raise them with the freedom to explore, we are giving them the gift of resilience. Resilience isn't something you can teach in a classroom, it is something you earn by being in a situation that is slightly difficult and figuring it out on your own. It is the feeling of coming home after running an errand and thinking, I did it. That feeling of competence is the best defense against anxiety. It is the knowledge that even if things go wrong, you have the skills to make them right again. We are currently experiencing a crisis of childhood mental health, and while there are many causes, the loss of independent play and responsibility is a major factor. By giving our children back their independence, we are giving them back their childhood. We are allowing them to be messy, inefficient, and adventurous. We are letting them have secrets and private discoveries. This is how they find out who they really are. It is a gift that requires us to be brave, but it is the most loving thing we can offer. If we can move away from a world of constant intervention and back toward a world of trust, we might find that not only are our children happier, but we are too. We will finally have the time to be people again, not just managers. If you could remember the very first time you did something all by yourself as a child, the feeling of the wind on your face or the pride in your heart, what is the one small freedom you could give back to your child today to let them feel that same magic?